Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Now, we've been told by Imam Obama that that's the man who did this in Orlando, was a homegrown terrorist. And of course, the greatest threat to us are homegrown terrorists. Is this really true, Leanne?
Well, a lot of people are trying to make that claim, especially with Donald Trump's national security speech, saying, he was a New Yorker, this was a native ideology here. But we're going to take a closer look and see that this was actually an imported ideology.
That's right.
Now, he was, of course, one of these people radicalized online, in addition to what he was getting taught at home by his father, who was from Afghanistan. We'll get into him a little bit later. But last night, the radical Muslim cleric who is connected to the Orlando terrorists, he had an interview with Greta Van Susteren. It was very eye-opening, a very interesting peek into a lauded Islamic scholar. So this is someone who travels around the world, goes to universities, and speaks about his version of Islam. So this is one of the clips that's really making the round today, making all the headlines. What he had to say about a Hillary Clinton presidency.
Hillary Clinton, as a Muslim, I object to Hillary Clinton. No, I don't believe a woman should be the president of a nation. As our Prophet ﷺ, he taught us that whenever a woman is in charge, there's going to be problems. What if she's on her menses and it's time to go to war? She's going to press the button because she's angry? I don't believe that she should be put in that position. We're still debating whether a woman should be in the battlefield with men, and we're going to make a woman the president?
Wow, it's a good thing he didn't say that to Megyn Kelly.
Yeah, exactly. And so obviously, just your basic science, I'm pretty sure Hillary Clinton is a little bit too old to be having her period. But I mean, what century is this? Should we just send her into the middle of the woods with the other women on their moon cycle? But then he goes on to talk about stoning women to death. And is this an appropriate rebuke for people who are committing adultery?
No, I do not condemn that.
Why not?
Do you condemn someone getting to electric chair for whatever crime they get the electric chair for?
So you think adultery for a woman is a death penalty offense?
Not just a woman. Why do you want to specify a woman?
Because because I see the women being stoned to death and I don't see the men. Are they stoning the men to death?
Well,
are they?
I don't know. What I condemn is the concept that stoning is an inappropriate punishment for adultery, because we find in the Quran and in the Sunnah that we stone for a person who is an adulterer.
So, I have to applaud Greta because she just sat there and allowed him to speak and reveal a Muslim ideology.
Yeah.
Okay, this is
right.
Moderate, and 99% of Muslims in Afghanistan, they agree with Sharia law.
Like the video that we had up on the Paul Joseph Watson that we played earlier today, and like our guest also said, where he disagrees with Donald Trump is the term radical Islam. Mm-hmm. This is what characterizes mainstream Islam.
Well, and he's probably golf buddies with Obama because he sort of had the same response when Greta asked him about journalists being beheaded by ISIS.
So when they behead James Foley, a journalist, your thought is what?
I believe some journalists need to be beheaded, but I wouldn't have done that.
You believe some journalists need to be beheaded?
I only say that facetiously.
Okay.
So
how can you in any way justify ISIS?
I'm not justifying.
Okay.
I'm not justifying. I was just stating that no, I don't justify any of their activities, and no, I don't think that. Shouldn't we stop them? No.
So he walks it back a little bit, but he's obviously not saying it facetiously. He just knows this is taqiyya. This is that.
Just joking.
They know that if they're going to be facing prosecution, they are allowed to lie to the infidel. They can lie to us. And he says he doesn't think it's right that the United States should be trying to stop ISIS. No, he doesn't. And then that she also asked him, about Mateen's association with the American suicide bomber. And he says, well, I personally don't believe that all of those guys are suicide bombing. So, this is someone who is making excuses. But let's take a look. Who is this guy? So he was just released from prison last year. He was a former U.S. Marine, discharged in 1990. He was disenchanted with the military. So what does he do? Immediately becomes a leader of a gang. And so the gang robbed more than 10 banks, private homes, post offices at gunpoint, shot 3 police officers, and attacked 1 cop after he was injured by a homemade pipe bomb. And then he was arrested in 1991. So in 1 year, after disenchanted with how bad the military is, he becomes this gang leader. And then so prosecutors cut a deal with him that he only had to serve 4 years in prison, but he had to work undercover for the FBI between 2004 and 2007, documenting terrorist plans and networks in Africa, Egypt, and the U.S. So he goes undercover, and now he's running a Muslim extremist Islamic school. So he basically goes to these places and gets even more radicalized.
Timbuktu Academy.
Yeah, he was able to convert 36 other people while he was in jail, converted them to his teachings. And so, like I said earlier, he travels the world, going to universities, some of them here in the United States. And he also has ties to the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. He was the bodyguard for Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman. So, I mean,
We've seen this a lot. Yeah, and that's the thing is, does this characterize Islam? Well, Muslims need to speak out about it. They need to disassociate themselves from that. We've seen some Christians who have been accused of supporting this, and we've seen some very hateful things from some individual pastors. I want to take a look at that real quickly. We've had one Baptist pastor who's spoke back against this. We had Carl Gallups. He said he reacted with outrage. This is a W&D story. By attempts by the ACLU staffers to pin the blame on the massacre of homosexuals on Christians. He says the idea of somehow celebrating or condoning this violence, says this Baptist pastor, nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be more disgusting for me to contemplate. This is an insult to all Christians. He says, I am not a hater of people. I don't think other Christians are as well. Speaking for myself, I've dedicated 40 years of my adult life to serving, ministering to the deep needs of people of all races, sexual preferences, and religious preferences. At the same time, we see another couple of pastors who've gotten a lot of press. Pastor Roger Jimenez of the Verity Baptist Church in Sacramento says that Orlando is now safer. He says, are you sad that 50 pedophiles were killed today? He said, no, I think that's great. I think it helps society. I think Orlando, Florida is a little safer tonight. Another pastor, Tempe, Arizona, Stephen Anderson, said there are 50 less pedophiles in this world, also from another Baptist church. Now, people need to understand there's probably as many different flavors of Baptist churches as there are variations of Islam, okay? This guy said, Stephen Anderson,
extremism.
Yeah, he said LGBT people should be executed by a righteous government. That's the only problem that he had with it. And so, when I look at this, I have to say that this is not Christianity. I have to speak out. I'm a Christian. I don't want people who are not Christians to think that this is what Christianity is about. I don't want Christians to be fooled by some of these false teachers to think that that's what Christianity is about. Seriously, folks, where do you think, what would Jesus have done? We've got these little things you find at the Baptist bookstores, WWJD. What would Jesus do? Thinking about what would Jesus do in this situation or that situation? What would Jesus do at a gay bar where there was shooting going on? Would he even be at a gay bar? I think yes. He was accused by the Pharisees of being in the company with sinners, prostitutes, publicans, tax collectors. That's really bad people. He was accused of that, and he didn't deny it. He said he came to this world to save sinners. He didn't come here to tell Christians that your duty on earth is to kill people who are sinners. No, Jesus came to die for sinners. That's Christianity. That's what we need to understand. That's the difference between people who are willing to die for what they witnessed, that's what martyr really originally meant, versus people who want to kill others and are willing to die to kill people who they think are doing something wrong. That's the difference, and we need to make that clear in all religions.
Yeah, that's good for you to make that point.
All right, we're going to be right back. Stay with us.
Because they're beheading people, beheading Americans?
Okay, don't we have our own problems here?
Yeah, we got problems here, but
okay, so is it our business?
Well, apparently some of those problems are being imported here.
Only because I think that because we feed into this and we grow it here.
A lot of people ask me what is the most important area of Infowars that runs the whole operation that is having such a big effect against the globalists. And I've said it over and over again, it is you, the listeners and the viewers, that send us the intel, the news tips, that support the broadcast, that spread the word. You are 90% of the operation or more. You don't stand beside us, you stand at the heart of Infowars. When I talk about the people at Infowars, from customer service, the shipping department, being just as important as our anchors, our researchers, our investigative journalists, and myself, it's absolutely true. Without this team that we've built over the last 20 plus years, we wouldn't be able to do any of what we've been doing. And that's what's so exciting, because we finally built up to a point where we now have the launch pad. Introducing AutoShip for InfoWarsLife.com, a new way to save time and money when you stock up on InfoWarsStore.com products. Again, ladies and gentlemen, when products are sold out, you're unable to get them, sometimes for months, but we hold back the products for people that have already signed up for AutoShip. When you choose AutoShip before checkout on your order at InfoWarsStore.com, we'll give you 10% off and give you guaranteed delivery of out-of-stock products that are on your AutoShip list. Plus, we're giving you free shipping on all orders above $50. Listeners have been requesting this for years because it's so easy to forget to reorder the products when you need them each month. Now it's finally here. AutoShip at InfoWarsStore.com and InfoWarsLife.com. It's easy. Go to InfoWarsStore.com, select your favorite product, click on the AutoShip, and choose how often you want us to send you another order. As you know, I coined the term 360 win, and with the new AutoShip feature at InfoWarsLife.com, it's a sure win. You add to that free shipping on orders of $50, it is a can't lose. Visit InfoWarsStore.com and save 10% off on your next InfoWars Life order by selecting AutoShip at checkout, and get free shipping on all orders above $50. That's InfoWarsStore.com, or call toll-free 888-253-3139.